Welcome to the Blitzes Brews podcast. Breaking news, bold debates, and ice cold beers. Crack one open and let's talk football.
That's my bad. We did it too early.
early?
That's fine. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blitzes and Brews podcast. We are your hosts, Declan, Tim, and Brendan. A little background on us: been friends for going on 20 years. Just big football lovers, and that's what we are here to talk about. Starting us off, obviously, we have the draft right around the corner, so we want to go over some of that stuff there. Brendan, we'll start with you. What rookies are you intrigued by, think are a little bit overrated?
Yeah, so overall, I think this is a pretty, I don't want to say disappointing, but not as exciting of a draft as, some others we've had before. Especially, I think the typical football fan, we're looking at positional players. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, they're very important to the game of football, but we look at guys like Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, Tep McMillan. These guys didn't participate in the combine, so we didn't get to see much of them, but I thought guys like, Maurian Hampton, Quinyon Judkins, and Travion Henderson, as far as running backs go, I thought they were pretty good at the combine. They showed out. We had, tight end wise, Tyler Warren, Colton Loveland. They didn't participate, but we had Fannin Jr., who I thought was pretty good. He didn't run too fast, but he was, decent. So
what do you guys think of Loveland and Warren not participating in the combine? Because I feel like that doesn't really impact anything in terms of them.
Yeah, I think mostly what you see on tape as far as what they did at college and real games, especially those two playing in bigger games, playing in Big Ten football games, that's enough for me. I mean, I think that
especially Tyler Warren.
Especially Tyler Warren, absolutely. Playing in the college football playoffs, balling out in the college football playoffs. I mean, that's enough. I don't put too much stock into the combine as far as, why aren't these guys participating? I'm sure all those teams, they were still there, met with those guys to interview them, talk about character, that kind of thing, what they would bring to the teams. I think that's more important because you already know what they can do on the field.
I do think that could be a killer, though, for Tyler Warren whenever you get into character. Because you think about it, he did go to Penn State, and they tend to have issues at that college. I'm just really not sold 100% on him, so we'll kind of see how things turn out.
What kind of issues are we talking about here?
Oh, just
We do have Pat Fryermuth.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
They have some success with the tight end position, but I definitely know where you're coming from.
Fair enough. I mean, more so in this draft in particular, what I would want to touch on would be the quarterback position. This reminds me a lot of, what was it, the Kenny Pickett year. Is that 20 or 2021?
I believe so.
2022, whatever it was.
One or the other, yeah. There's no top dog.
Yeah, there's no top dog. I mean, none of them really are that impressive. Cam Ward, sure. I mean,
I think he's the front runner right now.
I agree. I think he's the front runner. Shedeur, in my opinion,
he's a complete wild card.
I think he's a backup quarterback at best. I mean, there's nothing that he does that's special. I mean, yes, can he?
That comparison's great to the Kenny Pickett class because most of these guys are going to be backups. I mean, Kenny's a backup now.
Yes.
He had no place for the Steelers. They wanted to move on from him, try out other QBs and Will Levis and guys like that. I mean,
Don't get me started on Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate that
we
guy.
want to.
I do too. He's a guy that I want to love. As a Pitt guy, I want to like Kenny, but I mean, you guys know as soon as draft day hit and the Steelers took him, I was more upset than anybody in the city.
And I mean,
because I just kind of knew. I watched him play so much. He was like a fifth-year breakout. I mean, he had a couple good games as earlier on in his college career, but overall, I don't think he had the it factor. I don't know.
Yeah, and I have to eat my words on that. I know Tim a little bit too, not as much as me. I was a big Kenny Pickett guy. I thought he was it. At the end of his rookie year when he was winning us in Baltimore and doing all that, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is our future.
I mean, it's really easy to get excited about a guy who is local. Right. Grew up in.
And you wrote me into it.
I did.
I believed in Kenny too.
A couple Kenny jerseys purchased.
Yeah. I bought it as soon as he started,
Yeah.
and he threw that touchdown to Muth.
Yeah.
Right
he had
up
some
the center of the
flashes. I
field.
mean, he's not terrible, but he's just not a franchise quarterback.
No.
And when you're drafting a quarterback
he's
in the
terrible.
first round, and I feel like that's going to happen this year, I like Cam Ward a lot. Not a lot, but I like him a lot more than any other quarterback in this draft. I think he, in my opinion, is the only quarterback in this draft that could kind of take a team to the next level.
Yeah, I agree with that as far as physicals go. I am so sick of seeing him with the nonchalant bullshit he does as far
Yeah.
as you know. And then
But he's just like a raw talent.
He is.
I mean, you got to think guys like Anthony Richardson. He's a raw talent. What has he done in the NFL?
Yeah.
Nothing. But I just think that he has the potential to take to the next level.
Sure.
And I think the Giants are probably going to trade up to get the first round pick or the
think the
first overall pick
Giants-
and draft Cam Ward. Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, does that make you think the Titans are going to just roll with Will Levis?
That's a great question. I don't know. Sorry. I mean, it just seems like all signals show that that's kind of what's going to happen. They're already having discussions with teams about moving back. I don't know if they're just going to ride another year with Will Levis and just kind of see what happens, but I don't think they're really like in a position to like just draft Cam Ward and try to go with him. They got some older receivers and Calvin Ridley and I mean their team just kind of sucks. I don't know. They should probably just trade back and try to get some picks and try to build to
Probably makes
a better
sense,
future,
actually. Yeah.
especially when Cam Ward isn't a bona fide franchise quarterback like an Archie Manning would be
Right.
next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens next year. Definitely going to be more exciting with Arch. If he even declares, because there is a chance that he stays until 2026 with the, the whole NIL. And I mean,
It's very
it kind of
interesting.
changes everything.
It's very
because
interesting.
You declare, you see some of these guys stay for the extra time because they know they could stay there. They could get the extra money. I mean, look at Milrow. He was making over $1 million this past year. And
He might
who
not even
knows
be
when he'll
drafted.
get drafted
He
this
might
year.
not even be drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of negative things about him coming out.
Yeah.
He did get remeasured on his hands, and somehow they grew like an inch. I guess I don't know. He had like the smallest hands ever for a quarterback, including Kenny Pickett.
No
Mr.
way.
Small Hands himself. That was at I think the Senior Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah.
He got measured at the Senior Bowl, and everybody was like in a panic about him. And then he got remeasured. I don't know if he got a quick hand surgery or what happened, but like somehow he came in with like an inch longer hands and.
The good old hand enlargement surgery.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's
classic. Tales
becoming
old
more-
as time.
More
Helps
and more
them all out.
popular in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, leading into continuing us on that topic, I mean, in my opinion, so Cam Ward, yes, I think he is consensus first quarterback taken. Will more than likely be the best quarterback, but
I think so too.
I then would go Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart is better than Shadur. I think he is better really in every single way. Arm talent, he's more mobile. I guess you could say he's won more because what did Shadur really ever do at Colorado? Not a whole lot. I don't know. That's one I'm more intrigued in as far as quarterback goes, as far as taking you potentially to that next level. But still, I mean, I think other than Cam Ward, this class is pretty weak with that.
Yeah, I mean, another reason I'm trying to think about like the conferences that these guys played in. Jackson Dart played in the SEC his entire college career. Cam Ward, he floated around 3 different teams. I forget the first team that he played for, but then he transferred to Washington State, and then he transferred to Miami. So he played in a lot of different systems. He played in 3 different conferences. And Shadur Sanders, I mean, he was playing in, what was it, Jackson State?
Yeah,
Was that 1 or 2 years that he played there?
I think too.
Him and Travis Hunter. And then he goes to Colorado. I mean, they had some competition, but they didn't have SEC competition. So I agree with you there. I think Jackson Dart is the second best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah. I could definitely see it.
Does
I
he sneak
know
into the first
towards-
round?
Who knows after seeing last year and how people thought, I mean, Michael Penix, Bo Nix could possibly go in the second. And
Top 15.
there they
picks.
are, top 15. So you never know. Teams are looking for that next quarterback to be their
Desperate for it.
franchise guy nowadays. And there's a lot more teams willing to take the shot now.
My bold prediction is I think Jackson Dart gets drafted ahead of Sanders.
Wow, that is That I haven't seen any mock drafts.
I mean,
that way,
because
but
there is some baggage that comes with Sanders. I mean, you have his dad that's going to be in your face his entire career. I mean, there are good aspects about Sanders. I mean, comes from an athletic family. He's done well at Colorado, I guess you could say, but I don't know. I could just see teams not wanting to have to deal with Sanders' dad and, with Dion in prime time.
That's something I didn't really think was that big of an issue back, I mean, even a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see all these guys coming into the NFL and these character development issues that they actually talk about and just personal issues that they have. We see how it impacts these teams. I mean, look at George Pickens.
Yeah, we see
he can't get himself under control. Such a great talent, but
yeah, that's the thing.
is it him? He's got to put some sort of blame on Tomlin at the end of the day too. He just lets these guys do whatever they want. I won't go into specifics, but I think character is huge in actually determining whether these players are going to be there, be good for your team, the whole locker room, and you kind of have to be all around just a good player, good person.
I agree.
I mean, especially that
It helps.
position. That position you are playing, quarterback. You are the leader of the team.
Yeah.
You are the one that's going to take them where you need to go. What teams really have won anything without having a quarterback that can do that? And if you have that any sort of bad locker room guy typeness to you, it just to me doesn't feel like that will work. And I'm not saying he's that, but along with what you're saying, as far as having his dad there, having his own level of arrogance as well, it's just I don't know.
And I mean, that's I feel like that's a chance that a team takes on a crazy talent.
Sure.
Right? Like Pickens in the second round, he fell to the second round, one, because of his injury, and two, because of behavioral issues.
Right.
Like that was known while he was at Georgia, right? I mean, we know Pickens, a guy like that, he doesn't necessarily hide that or just all of a sudden become like that.
We've
like that
seen
dude's
the
a
clips
demon.
of him throwing that guy into the stand.
Georgia
by his
Tech
helmet.
by his
Yeah.
face mask. Just, yeah, exactly. Like you knew who he was, but like he's insanely talented. He's done a lot of good stuff for the Steelers, and that's a risk you take in the second round. And I think where you're gonna have to draft Sanders, probably in the first round, maybe early second round. Is it worth it? Like a good comparison, I feel like would be like Will Levis. Talent wise, maybe the same in college as Will Levis, but Will Levis, I mean, besides like putting mayonnaise in his coffees, a pretty decent guy, right? He doesn't have baggage like Shadur Sanders has. So I just don't think teams are really going to want to take a risk on a guy that at best might be, pretty good.
Sure.
We did get some pretty good memes out of Will Levis this past year, though, so
Yeah.
can't say that he
Dude,
was a
what was that,
complete
like a
bust because that was totally worth it. Every single meme that he was able to give us,
Those, yeah.
What was it, a 7-game streak, I
It was
think?
it
First
was-
7 games of the
it's
season.
impressive. You don't see that. That's pretty generational.
Yeah, when he was just straight parallel with the field, that was awesome. He threw a pick, and the guy was like 20 yards away from him, and he just, I don't know why he dove. He was never going
Just
to
let him
tackle
run,
him,
man.
but
He's gone. It's all good.
I
love it.
think he just
Keep
bought
it up,
into the
Will.
bit at
You're the
some
man.
point.
But then, I mean, moving along, sticking with the skill position, guys.
Yeah.
In this draft, a position that's loaded, full of great talent, running backs.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, Ashton Janty, the best one in there. I think that's clear. But there's a lot of other great guys. Marion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Quinion Judkins, Travion Henderson. All these guys that are, probably second-round talents, and a lot of teams that could use some running back depth or starting running backs. I think it's intriguing for that.
That's the thing. I feel like the running back position besides Genty, maybe Travion Henderson and Amarian Hampton. Those three may go in the first round, but there's gonna be a lot of value in the second round with guys like Judkins, guys like Caleb Johnson, even like Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal. These are really good. I mean, Cam Scatterboot popped off.
Look at what he
this
did against
year.
Texas.
Look what he did against Texas. I mean, he put the team on his back.
Yeah.
He was throwing up on the sidelines, concussed. It didn't matter. I mean, that guy just wants to win. That's the guy you want on your team.
Yeah.
Probably a bell cow. I mean, I think he's really talented. So there's going to be a lot of values in this draft as far as running back.
He's
goes.
a guy, for me, as a Steeler fan, pair him up with Jalen Warren. I can get behind
I
that.
love it.
I can get behind that.
I
You have
love it.
Jalen Warren as far as the explosive hit outside, but he can take it up the middle and do a lot of damage there.
So I really don't
Yeah.
think there's any chance that the Steelers re-sign Najee to any
I
kind
don't.
of contract.
That's out the window.
I think there's teams that need a running back more than the Steelers, more priority than the Steelers.
Sure.
Steelers have other positions that they need to attend to. But Jalen Warren is a guy that you just you never want to let go. I mean, that guy's a great pass
Mhm.
blocker, pass protections through the roof. He plays as hard as anyone I've ever seen. So I think they definitely want to bring him back. Also, he's not going to be as expensive as Najee.
No.
Just because he's not a true bell cow. But with that being said, I think the Steelers need a bell cow, and I think they can find one in this draft.
Agreed.
Yeah, you guys could definitely use a running back, that's for sure.
Oh,
This guy.
God, here we go.
This guy.
Yeah, just to whoever's watching, if that even happens, I'm kind of boycotting the Steelers right now. I can't deal with it anymore.
Tim's not happy with the way things have gone.
Yeah,
These past few playoff losses.
it's really been tough to put my heart and soul into that team and get nothing back, and it really seems like they do not care. And I feel like Tomlin says that a lot in interviews. We do not care.
Oh,
He's talking
has
about
said
me.
that.
He's talking about
sent me a
himself, maybe?
DM on Twitter and said that actually.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
can confirm.
It's not like I hate them, but
It sounds a lot. It sounds a lot like you hate them.
yeah, I'm kind of with Kevin Adams on this one.
We might actually pull up some
Maybe
texts.
to a worse degree.
Do you guys remember when Donovan Edwards with Michigan, the running back, was on the cover of NCAA?
Yes, I have that game. Great game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've
he had a
heard
really
that.
good season, didn't he?
They didn't do anything.
He stinks. That's my point. He
What
stinks. I
happened?
mean, he was a top 3 player. They put Travis Hunter on there.
He got instead of the Madden curse, the NCAA
He
curse.
got the NCAA curse. Luckily, there were 3 players on there, and he took the
full curse.
full curse to himself.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see some of these landing spots with these running backs. I keep diving into some mock drafts. You see, Genty going to the Raiders, maybe the Broncos, Morgan Hampton going to one of those teams. I mean, I think it's almost a surefire thing that Hampton gets drafted in the first round at this point. He showed out at the Combine, showed out at UNC.
Well,
And
then going along with that, who do you think in the first round would want? Because in my opinion, so we'll go to Genty first. In my opinion, I think Genty is destined to be a Cowboy. It just seems
can
like
see why you think
that's the
that.
most Jerry Jones pick.
but
I
does
know
he
they're-
make it to them?
That's true. Yes.
I really think the Raiders.
That's good.
I think the Raiders could go QB. They could go Sanders because, there was a whole thing about Sanders tweeting out, God is good every time the Raiders lost. And people kind of paired that with like, oh, they're tanking for Sanders or something like that. And he's kind of just been tied to the Raiders. But I don't. If they don't draft a quarterback, I think Genty might be pretty tempting for them to take.
Yeah.
Because he's the type of guy that you wouldn't feel bad about taking top 10. I think as far as generational running back talents go, guys like Bijan, I think Gibbs could be in that category. Saquon. I mean, Saquon
People
went
get-
second overall.
I think Gibbs us out of that, at least coming out of college wise.
Mm-hmm.
Things change when you get into the NFL for sure. I mean, his past season, whenever Monty went down, even when Monty
Yeah.
was in,
I mean, he's unstoppable.
he
He only
just-
needs like
he's
15
different.
touches to dominate and take over a game. It's insane.
I mean, him
But
and
I
Monty
think
both.
he's not a bell cow. Like I think that kind of hurts.
No,
Him and Monty
it's
both were
fine
guys
with
you
their
start both.
scheme.
In fantasy, you start both of them.
You start both
on the
of them.
same line.
Even if you have them both.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
you're going to
Yeah.
start both of them. It feels like the Cowboys probably are. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do because I've heard different reports about the Cowboys liking Rico Dowdle.
I don't
But-
understand why.
I don't really understand why either. I could see them maybe snagging. I mean, if Genty's there, I feel like you're right. They are destined to take him. But even in the second round, I feel like if there's like a Judkins or Caleb Johnson, they might even try to go that direction.
Right.
I mean, Rico Dowdle did have a pretty good year, but they like the superstars.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Sanders or Genty, I feel like almost guaranteed going to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, then if we're going to continue to move on positionally here, we talk wide receivers. I mean, we touched on tight ends a little bit, but wide receivers, not a deep class by any stretch. I mean,
think there's,
Tet's good. He's about the only one that's gives you that X maybe type receiver as far as can play outside and can do all that. But
He's
Yeah.
big.
the rest of them, I mean, they're good, but smaller guys.
Yeah, fast. I mean, Burton ran really well in the
Yeah.
40 at the combine. Agbuka, Tim and I have talked about this. we just love Ekbuka just based off the person that he is.
Sure.
You see some footage of him pumping up his teammates, going over plays. Like, that guy just wants to win. He sacrificed 2 or 3 years of his career sitting behind guys like, Jeremiah Smith, Marvin Harrison, just these top-notch, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, these 5-stars coming in. He's always been the second or the third receiver, and he never lashed out. And that goes back to kind of like the Pickens thing. I mean, that's a guy you want on your team because he's going to bring everything he has to every practice, every game. He's going to make everyone around him better. So I think that in itself kind of, makes Ekbuka really interesting. And I think Burden's really talented. I don't quite see the hype with Burden. I don't know how you guys feel about him.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think Burden is electric.
You think Burden over Ekbuka?
I think I would take him over Ekbuka. Yeah, I think he's better than
You're
Ekbuka.
You're definitely not in the minority with that.
I mean, I think Ekbuka is great, and what you touched on, of course, is a big factor too. I don't know much about Burden and his.
I like Burden because he's from Missouri and he stayed in Missouri.
Yeah, but
he could have went anywhere.
He is exciting to watch. He is explosive. Gets the ball in his hands, and he's going to make it.
4.41. I think you're in 4.4.
Yeah.
Was it a 4.41? Yeah. I mean, that's blazing speed, especially for a slot receiver like him.
Yeah.
And I think so. Those 3 are probably your top 3. I mean, they are your top 3, but I feel like there's definitely a tier break after that. And then you're looking at Matthew Golden. I think he's the 4, and then after him, I think there's a big drop off.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to you about this. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts, or I saw a couple mock drafts of Matthew Golden going to the Steelers. And I'm like, I literally told you, I'm like, I do not want the Steelers to draft Matthew Golden. But he showed out of the combine. And you know what? He showed out in the playoffs, too.
Yeah, he did.
In the NCAA playoffs. I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but he smashed against Georgia, smashed against Arizona State. And Ohio State, they just tried to take him away. They did a good job of that. I think Ohio State went after the Oregon game during the regular season up until like the 4th quarter of the Notre Dame game. I'm pretty sure Ohio State didn't even let up a receiving touchdown. So you can almost throw those stats out the window.
Sure.
I think he had 2 catches for 40, but I was watching that game just knowing if he breaks away, it's going to be trouble for Ohio State. And I think he's a real talent. I mean, I've come around to really liking him. So I think we could see him going in the 20s, maybe late first round, to a team that needs an X receiver with some speed. Saw Xavier Worthy last year.
Yeah.
Speaking of, how about his teammate?
Isaiah Bond. Oh, he was going to run a 4.1, right?
Run a 4.1.
Yeah.
Not even the fastest guy on your team.
You just can't.
He was the 3rd fastest receiver on his team last year.
Just don't say anything.
No, I know.
You had Worthy,
It
and you
wouldn't
had.
hurt.
I mean, but you think about that team, man. Texas had some speed at receiver.
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Bond.
They still couldn't pull it off.
That's actually going back
No.
a couple topics here. Is Quinn Ewers a guy we're not big on at all?
I feel like he totally got looked over during the combine.
I don't know how he did.
He had some bad throws. Look, you can't put too much stake into the combine.
No,
I mean, you see this guy play. No, he had some bad passes and some bad moments with Texas.
He did.
So when you pair that with what he did at the combine,
Whenever Texas played Georgia, was it? I don't think it was in the playoffs. They lost to Georgia.
They lost to Georgia twice.
Yes.
They had 3 losses. Georgia twice and Ohio State once.
At least the first one, I looked at that game and I was like, "You had Arch Manning in the game."
Yeah. We watched that game together. Now, he was coming off an injury, but that doesn't excuse his performance. He was really bad that game. He feels like a guy that would convert so well to the NFL.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
But he just doesn't bring enough for you to,
And
want
that's
to
kind of what
take
I
a shot on him.
with Will Howard too. I mean, he's as far as some of the things he's done, looks like this guy plays like a pro style NFL quarterback does.
I think his game stats or his game film is amazing.
But I guess there's another one too, though. When you look at the combine and things like that, and is there a reason why he's not up there with Cam Ward and Jackson Dart and Shadur? There has to be things that we probably overlook, but it's just not there. But he also won a national championship, so.
But he was also throwing at Jeremiah Smith and Ekbuka.
Yes.
And he had Trayvon Henderson out of the backfield.
Right.
And, I mean, the stats got padded, and he has said that. He knows that. But, at Kansas State, he won the Big 12. He beat TCU the year that they went to the national championship game. Like, he's got a good pedigree. Like I said, I like his game film, but I feel like he falls into the Kenny category like we were talking before. I feel like he he'll be a really good backup.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'd really like to see that guy succeed. I think he's a great guy. I think he's talented, but yeah, I just feel like he definitely did not help his draft stock with the combine.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about, like, the Rams, say, drafting Quinn Ewers sitting behind Stafford?
Is it much different than Stetson Bennett?
Oof. I forgot he was there.
I mean, Stetson
I think it
Bennett
is.
48 years old.
He's
as a
older.
rookie.
Yes, he's an
He
older
was.
rookie. But
I can't talk
He's
too
also
much
not a
crap
good
on the
size
guy
quarterback.
after, I mean,
He doesn't have a good quarterback size.
who's Stetson Bennett?
Yeah, he's pretty
I mean,
small.
Quinn Ewers isn't.
But he makes.
I mean,
He
yeah,
looks small. Like,
you're right.
I agree with you, but like, yeah.
hey, can you do me a favor and unplug this cord and plug it back in?
This one?
Yeah.
Is it not picking me up?
Pause.
No, it is. But no, we're good.
That'd be a shame if it wasn't working. Is that better? What's going on?
It's like staticky. Yeah, let me pause this. There we go. All right.
We back.
Yeah, ran into some technical difficulties there.
Thanks for the patience, all of our viewers.
Mom, Dad,
Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So,
Moving along here, talked a lot about the draft coming up, the rookies, all that good stuff. Let's get into a little bit of NFL free agency and maybe in some trades and things that happened. We've had a pretty crazy week as far as players getting released, players getting traded, whole lot of stuff going on. So, what did you think was the craziest thing you saw this week? What do you expect? Anything like that?
Well, so the thing that I just am so puzzled by in general is like, what is the Rams' tactic? Because during the season, right, we all know that they end up losing on the road against the Eagles in a snowstorm, which is probably the worst possible situation for that team being in LA. They were trying to trade Cooper Kupp. And then I forget the team that they beat, but after they beat them, they were like, okay, we're not taking any more trade discussions for Cooper Kupp. We're going to try to make a run. Then after the season, they were like, okay, we might part ways with Matt Stafford. And they're like, no, we're going to snatch him up and we're going to try to,
Run it back again.
run it back. So I thought the Matt Stafford signing in general was really interesting to me because that kind of shows what direction they're trying to head. It seems like they're still trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp. I think McVay came out and said something along the lines of like the least likely option would be that Cooper Kupp ends up being on the Rams next year. So it's probably either going to be a trade or a cut type situation.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of guys get cut. Christian Kirk just got cut, he almost got cut. He was going to get cut, and then the Texans obviously just signed him, just traded for him for a 7th round pick today. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of free agent receivers out there.
wait. No, there's no way.
What?
I thought when you guys said Kirk, I thought
Kirk
you
Cousins?
meant Kirk Cousins.
Oh my god!
Got traded to the Texans.
What are you doing?
Yo,
being a
what
podcast?
sense was that
Seventh.
make?
I was like, what?
We're done with CJ Stroud.
I was like, I don't know. Maybe they want like.
He
some
thought
veteran
he
in
was
there.
like
Your
they
reaction
traded-
should have been more than what it was then.
They traded Kirk for number 7
For
CJ Stroud.
For
This
number
makes no
7.
sense.
Dog, I mean,
I knew the Falcons
If you're
were
a-
stupid, but didn't know the Texans were that dumb too. Okay, Kirk. Christian. Kirk of the Christian variety is now on the Texans. Gotcha. Along with Tank Dell, who is never going to play in the NFL.
that is Tank Dell's replacement, 100%. Now they have, I think Stephon Diggs is a free agent now. So I don't know. It sucks for them because 2 of their great receivers, Nico Collins is their 1, but they're 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what Diggs' status is. I think he'll probably be back next year in some capacity. But Tank Dell, I mean, I hate to say it, but his career is eerie. I don't know. He's definitely not gonna be back next year.
And
He
listen, I have
survived
something to say
He
about
did,
that
but-
too. Because you hear all these people talking about, I mean, these wide receivers, you're seeing a lot of smaller wide receivers come to the NFL and succeed. And Tank Dell's one of those who he is a smaller guy. And he has had 2 season-ending injuries.
He's already at a disadvantage.
I mean, are we going to start seeing that kind of go away?
Smaller receivers
As-
in general.
I mean, as quick as it started and how they were able to get into the NFL and make an impact, Tank Dell's showing right now. I mean,
Yeah.
you need
Maybe.
some size on you.
You
You need
do.
some beef.
You
if wanna
definitely
stay
do.
healthy because that is so key in the NFL is staying healthy throughout the entire season. And he is just, you can't do it. And I hate to see it. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
you
he
saw
was able
how
to survive a gunshot better than playing on the football field.
dude, that gunshot didn't even seem to.
No,
Harm
he
him at
ate
all.
it and spit
was-
it back out.
Yeah, he just like flexed and it popped out, and he was like, "I'm good to go." But when you dislocate your knee and he tore his MCL or ACL, he had 2 significant injuries on the same play. It was a gruesome scene. We all saw it. Stroud was
Oh
in
my
tears for like
gosh.
3 hours. I don't think he ever got over that because him and Tank Dell are so close.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just brutal. I think you might be on the right track about that. Who is it? Tez Walker this year. And that dude weighs like
150 something pounds? 155, I think, is what he weighed in.
and the problem with that is that he ran like a 4.5.
Yeah.
He's not like blazing fast. I think he is kind of like Caleb Johnson. I think he's more game fast, in pads against opponents, adrenaline pumping, whatever else. But man, when you weigh that,
Yeah.
when you're that light and your combine is not
Yeah.
good, you don't run a good 40 time. It's hard to say you're gonna have any success in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the trend moving forward.
We'll
with
see.
light receivers.
We'll see. I mean, we have Tet this year who's 7'8", 352 pounds.
45-inch
We're
hand.
gonna
Can
see
catch
what
with
happens.
one- with
Yeah.
one hand really well.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
he
Tet-
is massive.
Ted is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because I just don't really know like what to think about him. He's insanely talented. He has pedigree. I think he had like 3,000 yards the past 2 years, which is better than any other receiver in the class. Obviously, that's why he's going to be the first receiver taken. But like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't really got to see too much of him. I see some highlights. I know he had like a 3 or 4 touchdown game, first game of the year.
The big thing I've seen with Tet and what scouts aren't crazy about is separation. He doesn't
Yeah.
separate well. But, I mean, does he make up for it? I mean, look at the catches he makes.
Well, but how well does contested catches translate to the NFL?
Exactly.
That's a question you have to ask yourself.
Right.
And that's, I think, is what is going to be dependent off of how he does in the NFL.
To me, then it seems like it's almost a direction of George Pickens. George Pickens
George
does not
Pickens does
separate
it
great,
so well, though.
but contested catches,
Yeah.
all that stuff, he can do it all.
Put that dude in the slot on a slant, too. He's going. I mean,
Yeah.
Pickens. I don't know if Tet has that in him because
Yeah.
Tet's a little bit bigger of a receiver. He didn't test, so we don't know how fast he is, but I don't know. I think there's definitely some question marks about him for where he's likely to go. I don't think, he's the most surefire receiver necessarily in the draft.
As far as you mean
Just like,
complete.
I'm thinking like
all around.
bus factor.
Okay. Sure.
You get a guy like that who doesn't get a lot of separation.
Yeah.
What if he struggles with contested catches in the NFL against
Pat
NFL?
Surtain.
Well, yeah, Pat
Yeah,
Surtain,
right.
Sauce Gardner, JBJ. I mean, any guys like that. If he struggles with that, he also played the Pac-12, which just doesn't exist anymore. And I think Arizona was one of those teams that stayed in the Pac-12. Am I wrong about that?
No, I believe.
Or, no, Arizona State, Arizona.
Arizona.
I think it was Arizona and Washington State were the two that didn't transfer to like the Big 12 or whatever. But there's just a lot of question marks around him. I'd like to look at a little bit of his film and kind of see. I also don't think he had the best quarterback play, but man, he puts up numbers.
Yeah.
If you're big into stats, he's definitely a guy that you would like a lot.
Sure.
I wonder where he's gonna go.
Patriots.
He might.
Yeah, but then
Is
but
T.
then
Higgins
back
gonna go to
to-
the
But then
Patriots?
back to
I know they
he's
tagged him.
He's tagged.
He
but
got tagged.
There's a lot
Again.
with the Patriots as far as free agency wide receivers. A lot they can do with that, because the Patriots, I don't think, yes, they might have their quarterback. Drake might look pretty good as a rookie.
Mhm.
I still think that's a team that needs a lot, though. So, I don't know. I mean, if you can start filling holes as far as like your O-line and things like that with your picks, with
So
your draft picks.
You're talking about the Pats?
Yes,
You
the
said?
Patriots, yes. Fill that stuff with your picks
Mhm.
and maybe make some free agent signings.
Yeah,
as far
because
as receiver goes.
I think Jalen Polk was a guy that they thought they would get more out of.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously had a great season 2 years ago at Washington before he got drafted. He had a lot of hype. That guy was super solid. I mean,
Yeah.
with I think Lai McConkey had more yards. I forget what game it was. It was late in the season. He popped off. I'm pretty sure Lai McConkey had more yards in one game than Jalen Polk had the entire season.
Yeah.
Without like any competition. Douglas is a good receiver, but
What about Kendrick Bourne? They signed him.
they gave him
Like,
a
I
bag.
think
more
Kendrick
than he
Bourne is a
should've.
guy that
Give him a
they more
bag.
so like in the locker room more than anything, though. I think he's that type of guy.
I think he's a really good blocker too.
Yeah.
He's a big ass receiver.
I mean, he certainly isn't making catches. I could tell you that
But
for free.
at the same time, though, if you're a Devontae Adams, if you're a Stephon Diggs, if you're one of these elite receivers in the end of your career, never won anything,
Yeah.
are you really interested in going to the Patriots? I mean, how far away are they?
Okay, so I actually just saw something that was interesting. I'm blanking. Who just requested DK? DK, I saw somewhere that he's interested in 3 teams. The Patriots were one of them. It was the Patriots, Chargers, and I forget who the third was, but the Patriots were one of them. I think Drake May, what he put on paper, I think guys are interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does seem weird to me because I feel like DK kind of has the ability to kind of go not wherever he wants, but he can go to a team that could win right now, like the Bills. You know, what would the Bills give up to get DK with Keon Coleman kind of having an underwhelming season? They got rid of Gabe Davis. I think Keon Coleman kind of had a similar season, but they're probably looking for another X receiver who can win outside. But
And,
like
yeah.
maybe they're not interested in him. It was just interesting to me that he put the Patriots on one of his top 3 destinations.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have seen anybody doing that a couple years ago. So Drake May is definitely doing something.
Yeah,
And then,
he's an exciting
I
quarterback.
don't know. Yeah, without Belichick there, things definitely change in terms of being a receiver or really anybody on offense.
And also, if you're a receiver and you go to the Patriots, you are getting probably 120 targets if you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
because they
who
don't have
else?
any talent. And a lot of
That
these
is true.
receivers, we know what kind of people they are. They want to put up stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they certainly have to have enough money to make some sort of signing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who are they paying right now?
Exactly. I mean, they paid Ramondre, but not the thing.
Kendrick Bourne might be
Oh,
one
yeah,
of their
that
highest
was a
paid.
horrible
Yeah, they
signing.
Was
that a 2-year deal?
Ramondre?
2 year?
I
His-
don't
his
know. I
was
just know
3.
it was a lot
lot.
than what he deserves.
I mean, in the running back market, he was one of the highest paid running backs
Yeah, and
at
he
some point.
was atrocious.
He just, I mean, Ramidre is what
Yeah.
I call him. He's
Yeah.
just kind of mid.
Yeah, I mean that's a real knee slapper there. You think about it, he is pretty mid,
Yeah,
below mid. Some would say.
runs hard.
I would say.
He sometimes I can't even say he's flashy. I
He's
can't think
not.
of one play that he had that was like, oh wow, look at Ramondre. I mean, good goal line back maybe, sure. Good
Yeah.
bell cow. He can handle a lot of snaps, but
He doesn't even wear a cool number.
what number is he?
38.
Oh, that's bad. AK can get away with that with 41, but like
He made 41.
if AK wasn't good, 41 might be worse than 38. 38 is terrible,
Yeah.
and he's not good to like make up for it. So
So getting into DK more, did he mention any of the other teams that he would like to go to? Because that was news to me about the Patriots.
I'll try to find the tweet that I saw.
I mean, him requesting a trade was interesting.
It wasn't overly surprising, though.
But you think about this, all of a
that?
sudden Seattle needs a receiver.
Yeah, they do.
They were like they had one of the best trios I think in the league with DK JSN after JSN broke out last year, and Lockett they cut
Ugh,
Lockett.
Don't say his name.
Well,
Who?
Lockett.
You
You
know, I
know
feel-
how I feel about him.
Oh, true. Yeah.
He's my true enemy in this world.
my thing.
I can see why.
Why I'm
Lockett's
not
very good,
surprised
not
about
gonna
DK. Couple things. JSN is clearly taking over. He's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
It's not DK anymore. JSN is that guy there.
maybe that's why DK
And
wants
then
out. He's
That and then your quarterback position is going to be very questionable here soon.
Yeah.
As far as who's going to play there, what
I think it already is.
Yeah, I mean Gino's okay, but he's not.
Don't talk about my boy like that. You see that jersey back there?
is that a Geno Smith jersey?
No.
Oh,
no, it's just
oh.
But it
old
was
school
Pat.
West Virginia one. But yeah, I mean, I went to WVU. Love my boy Geno Smith. He is so average
Yeah.
at best. I mean,
Oh, you're not writing him off, are you? Because he won't write back. Okay, so Underdog NFL tweeted that DK Metcalf trade market includes Chargers, Texans, and Patriots. So I may have misspoke there. That might be
Who has interest?
who has interest, who the team is willing to trade with, and who DK may want to play with. Man, the Texans seem like they really may not re-sign Diggs.
I don't think Texans re-sign Diggs.
That Tank Dell injury might be legit because all they have is Nico Collins. And he's great, but
now Christian Kirk.
and right before the Kirk signing, yeah. But now they have Kirk. They have a good slot receiver, great outside receiver. They could probably get away without getting DK, but I could see him going to the Texans. I think the
Kirk,
Chargers,
by the way, not Kirk Cousins.
yeah,
Just want to clarify.
it's a mental note.
Just letting you guys know.
Also, as far as free agency goes, this isn't really super exciting to talk about, but the Bears traded for 2 offensive linemen. Seems like they're going gung-ho to help Caleb out, which is ironic because they didn't give a shit about Justin Fields whenever he came in. They just said, yeah, you need to be Superman or we're going to cut you or trade you for a 6th. I mean,
yeah,
poor Jussie. But, yeah, it seems like the Bears are going all in with Caleb. They have weapons. I don't think they're going to re-sign Keenan Allen. I don't think they need to. I think Rome and DJ Moore with Ben Johnson, I think that's going to be in a really exciting
Ben
offense.
Johnson, yeah. I mean, he is just. I think he's gonna turn that
What a guy.
entire brain. What a guy! No, here's a guy.
Here's a guy.
I
I think he is.
Yeah.
I really think he
It
is a next
tough
level
with the
offensive
Bears,
coordinator.
though, man. I mean, I was in on Caleb Williams whenever everyone else said, "Oh, he paints his nails," and I mean,
You hear the word generational
he
and
cries in
you
his
know, your nuts
mama's
tingle a little bit.
lap after games, and I'm like, okay, this is all making sense. But I didn't see that. And I was like, listen, if you are a rookie QB going into this situation, that's one of the greatest situations.
it was.
I was just looking at, Keenan Allen, Romo Dunze, DJ Moore,
Good
D
defense.
Swift, good defense.
Terrible coaches though. I think the coaches did him
Well,
in.
and then
Terrible.
terrible,
1000%.
terrible
Yeah.
offensive line.
Caleb Williams, they took away his win against the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
That timeout
absolutely.
debacle that they had.
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
crazy.
that was just the worst. He got fired the next week, right?
I thought it was like
The next day? Yeah, like he was gone. Like that was such a big, but that just shows what they can be. The Lions needed that game. They were at home. It's their game on Thanksgiving. That was the game that the Lions should have. Everyone thought they were going to blow
And
the Bears
Lions
out.
haven't lost have lost every Thanksgiving for how many years was it? Like 10,
Infinity.
15,
Like, yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It's tough for me to trust the Bears again after I put faith in Caleb. I mean,
Hey, but he had a pretty
took him in the
pretty
first
solid
round
year.
of our dynasty draft. So
Thank you. I got
had
Jamar
to
because of
have
that.
faith. Don't talk about it.
This guy hates Jamar Chase, apparently.
Yeah,
Passed on
I
him
know.
twice, 3 times.
Twice.
Did we pass on him in the Domain League?
Yeah,
We did get Joe
but
Burrow, though. Regardless, that was a win.
yeah,
That was a
we
dub.
got Joe
That's a
Burrow.
dub.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Bears are going to be an interesting team to watch next year. I'll be interested.
I will say,
Yeah.
if they can't get it done with Ben Johnson, they are never getting it done.
I would still give him
Yeah.
another year. I mean, with figuring out like Caleb Williams. I'm not out on Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is good. He needs some more structure, of course. He needs a better line. He needs a better coaching staff.
He needs to be
He needs
coached.
to take out the butt plug.
He needs to take
Yeah,
the plug
he
out.
needs to be coached because that dude just wants to run around and make highlight plays,
Right.
which he's good at. But like, settle down and
There's a
throw
lot
out
of
of the
times
pocket.
when you're watching his games, though, and like you see what how the play develops. Your first read's here. No, and just it's like what? Take it.
Yeah,
he wants to
there.
look at every receiver.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
He wants to look for the big play.
Yeah.
I've seen some good things out of him. I do notice he misses a lot of those deep balls whenever he's on the run and trying to look all flashy.
Yeah, right.
He
That's what I
overthrows
mean.
him by like 5 yards.
And I think that's something he can work out because those are really hard plays to make.
Yeah,
and
for
he,
sure.
he wants to make those plays. But yeah, you're right. I
see.
mean,
We'll see what happens.
it's interesting. Chicago's a really intriguing team. That whole division is, I think, the most intriguing division
Yeah.
in the NFL. I mean, last year they were the best. The Bears were the worst team, and obviously they had a rookie quarterback. They had a terrible coaching staff. They're beefing the line. They got a good head coach now. Obviously, the Vikings, Lions, Packers. I think the Packers might end up being the worst team in that division.
Packers are another interesting team, though.
I think the Vikings
That's a
are
team
inevitable.
as far as going back to DK, the Packers would do well with getting DK. Then they have all these great receivers that are 2s, 3s.
Yeah, they have a lot of good
And they
twos.
all have their moments. They all have their games where they
Yeah.
pop off and score a bunch of fantasy points and do all that stuff. But, like, nobody clear-cut, this is a threat.
No,
But that's offense
mean-
also is way better when you look at when Christian Watson, who's hurt all the time.
right. That's what I was going to
when
say.
he's in the game,
He's great.
their offense is way better.
Yeah.
Sure, with that whole.
I don't even know if-
thing.
They're
know-
great, not him.
Oh.
Whenever
he's
he's
just
in
such a
there,
threat.
they're great. Yeah.
I mean, imagine so you substitute
They
Christian
already
Watson
done
for
it.
DK Metcalf. That's just crazy. It's
I can
it's
see it.
crazy as far as an upgrade goes.
I think they're going to draft a receiver. Is it Romeo Dobbs or Wick? Dontavian Wicks. Which one of those they just cannot catch? Is it Wicks?
It's Wicks.
I think it's
yeah.
Wicks. I
Oh
don't
my
think
God, he
Dobbs has
can't
that
catch.
problem.
Yeah, Dobbs, he's all right.
Jaden
the whole
Reed.
sitting out.
Well, Jaden Reed, the
game
first few games of the season
he's-
looked like they have their one.
Yeah,
Beast. And
that-
then all of a sudden,
yeah.
He went
just-
crazy against the Eagles in
Yeah.
Sao Paulo. That was nuts. But like, yeah, and then he got injured at the end of the year, so he's going to be going through some rehab. I'm pretty sure he cracked his shoulder pretty good, collarbone, whatever it was. Yeah, I could see that. You guys want to go through some of these other free agent receivers, or
I mean, yeah.
I mean, at least like some of the
I
top
was
ones.
thinking about. We were talking about Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, what about Pete Carroll on the Raiders?
Oof.
How do you think? I mean,
It's
he's,
biggest
just, that's
mystery.
another one that feels destined to be a Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett. Bring them all back. Let's try to
Oh.
do.
They
this.
said it's
Please
unlikely Russ
do.
goes
Please
there.
do.
They said it's unlikely that Russ goes there.
Well, if Russ doesn't have any other options, he's going to go there.
yeah,
Oh, they
he's
might- they
certainly
might
not going to be
just not
playing
want
in
him.
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
They might just
don't
not want
him.
him.
Yeah.
I can see Gardner going back to the Raiders.
Well, they released him though.
Who?
Gardner. Or they're set to release him.
Oh, really?
Well, shoot,
Maybe not then.
they might get
I don't
DK
know if
there
they did
too
yet,
on the
but
Raiders. They're bringing the
I-
whole game back.
I
Together.
did just see a clip of when DK got drafted and he was crying. Pete Carroll told him, "You're gonna be catching footballs from Russell Wilson." Might just happen again.
Could happen again.
Never know.
We'll
Even
see.
the crazy turn of events, we re-sign Russ, and then we get
DK.
DK.
Would you guys take that trade off? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I
I'm
wouldn't.
not like. I think DK.
As much as I
is-
like DK.
I think DK is great. But like you have that already in Pickens. I guess. I mean, yes. If you can have two guys,
We do
on
need
the
a second.
outside,
Yeah.
that's good. But I think you can find that other ways than trading draft capital, which we need
Yeah.
to get DK.
I got a question for you guys though. Devontae Adams. Are him and Rodgers attached?
I don't think anymore.
You don't think so?
I think if I'm Devontae Adams, you tried it, didn't work out. I'm not following Rodgers.
I think
he goes.
both of them are just looking for individual stats
Yeah.
at this point in their career.
I would think Devontae's looking to win a Super Bowl.
You would think so. I mean, whenever he signed with the Raiders, I just assumed like, he just wants money
Yeah.
because obviously he's not going to win a championship with Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell with the
Right.
Raiders, with an interim coach who got extended.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's interesting. I could see them getting divorced. I could see them sticking together. I just don't really know where those two would fit. I have no idea where Aaron Rodgers might go. If he's on the Steelers, I might just join you, Tim, because I would hate that so much. But I don't know. Maybe Rodgers and Tay will go back to the Raiders.
Well, am I missing? I could be here, but there's not a ton of teams, it seems like, out there right now that really truly need a quarterback. The ones that do, the few that do, seem like they can probably find some in the draft.
Right. The Giants.
The
What about the
Giants,
Browns?
The Browns, but
The Browns are in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Because are they? I'm assuming Cam Ward's going to go one. Let's say he doesn't, though. They might take Cam Ward. But if someone jumps ahead of them, gets Cam Ward, is there any way they take Sanders?
I don't.
Second overall?
I mean, you're gonna lose Myles Garrett almost
I don't know.
inevitably. Wouldn't
know
you
what
take?
they're gonna
Wouldn't you
do.
take Abdul Carter then,
Or Travis Hunter?
or Travis Hunter?
Personally, I would take Carter. I think he's a better player, and I don't think Travis Hunter's going to play both sides. Even if he does, I still think Carter is a more
Yeah.
valuable player. That dude's a beast.
Okay.
Abdul Carter.
I'm just going through the list of starting NFL quarterbacks. I mean, Titans need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Browns, Raiders, Giants, Colts. I could.
Steelers need one.
I don't think the Colts are going to give up on Anthony Richardson yet.
No, I think they're gonna bring in Daniel Jones for competition.
You don't think they're gonna give up?
I don't
on
think that.
Anthony Richardson after that abysmal last.
I don't
season.
think so.
I don't think they're gonna like risk
I think
draft
that's
capital
more
on
of a
it.
bold take than they have given up on him. He is atrocious.
I mean, he gave up on them
yeah,
literally
I don't
in the
think
red
that-
zone.
do you
Never
think-
seen that.
Where do they pick? I mean, they pick. I don't
They
know,
got probably
have-
top 15 pick.
Yeah, I mean, if Shedeur Sanders is there, do they take him?
So I don't think they head that direction. I think they bring in a cheap
I don't know.
free agent like Daniel Jones.
Sure. Okay.
Like I don't think they go to the extent of trying to replace Anthony Richardson as much as they want to bring in competition
Yeah.
for him. Whether that's to not give up on him and try to make him better by bringing in competition, or if they just really don't like him. I just don't. It's just so hard. I feel like for a team to give up on the 4th overall pick from 2 years ago, and he's been hurt a lot. Like if you give him
It's
a
not
full
that
healthy
far off
season,
of the what 15s. When did the Steelers draft Kenny?
20th.
20.
Yeah, it's
20.
not. It's not.
I mean, they are just always at that 20.
But at least Kenny had a full season to show what he can do. Anthony Richardson, like in the beginning of the year, well, first of all, I guess 2 years ago, technically, his rookie year, he came out and just lit the world on fire.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
I mean, he was throwing dimes. His deep ball is great. His completion percentage was never good, which almost never translates. Besides, I think Josh Allen is
Josh
the
Allen,
only one to
yeah.
ever do that. Which Anthony Richardson, I think, is working with the guru that helped Josh Allen. I just don't see it in Anthony Richardson. But
But I also, I just still don't see them. I think they give it another year with him.
yeah,
Other than bringing in a cheap free agent quarterback.
yeah. I think they're gonna bring in a Daniel Jones. I don't really know who else free agency wise.
As far as you want to talk about cheap, because I don't think
Cheap.
Sam Darnold's going to be cheap.
No,
I
Sam
think he's
Darnold
gonna
is
be
getting a bag.
$35 million a year.
Getting a bag.
Yeah.
I mean, Russ
Darnold?
wants probably 20 plus.
Yeah, Russ is going to want.
Justin Fields probably wants 15
I think he'll do
plus.
15, which he's fairly cheap.
But
too.
that's I feel like Daniel Jones you can get for 5, maybe.
Did you guys mention Darnold getting a bag?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he'll get paid.
I think he's
I
gonna.
think he'll get paid and he'll go somewhere and not be good.
Yeah.
He's 30 plus.
That is okay. I'm glad that you're kind of in the same boat. That is O'Connell.
100%.
O'Connell
Absolutely.
is why Darnold. Look at Kirk.
That's why Kirk was. I mean,
He went to the
Okay.
Falcons, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the Falcons. I'm gonna go back and just not be good.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Dude, that
did
game against the Steelers was awful for him.
atrocious.
He had no idea
And
what to do.
I mean, I love Kirk. Great guy.
Yeah, he is a good
Not
guy. Easy to root for.
As good of a quarterback whenever he's not on the Vikings with Kevin
well, he's an
O'Connell.
interesting one to see get cut.
Jettis also helps. Who?
Kirk.
I think
Yeah,
he's.
gonna go to the Texans.
I mean that dead cap is probably ridiculous.
Him, I see. I
They're
would
guaranteed,
think
right?
If he gets
Guaranteed
cut,
money.
that's somebody I feel like the Browns. Somebody like that.
I can
would
see that.
pursue.
yeah.
What do you think about Jameis Winston?
I think
He could be,
I
but
think Jameis is done.
he could be a guy
Yeah,
that like
he's
the Colts can
broadcasting
sign
now.
to kind of battle against.
Maybe battle out. Yeah.
I don't think he's done at all.
I don't think he's done.
I mean,
think he's-
I'm not saying I don't think he's done
taken
as
a
a
starter.
starter, but like
I don't think
I
he's
think-
taking a starting job anymore.
I think he kind of takes a role like he took with the Browns this year.
Yeah, little competition. in
Just
the room.
be there to be fun for
Yeah.
all of his teammates.
Dude,
I
what was he
mean,
saying with the
His
Browns?
personality, it just cracks me up.
He was
Everything he does, I could just watch it like on repeat for an hour straight.
Well, you didn't see whenever the Steelers play the Browns. You were at the game, obviously. He was saying like the funniest shit. And I wanted to laugh so bad, but they beat us, so I was so mad about it. But I'm like, watching it like a few weeks later, I'm like, dude, this dude is.
Oh, he was saying
he's
he
so
was up at the
Whenever he
podium.
wanted them to jump.
He was like, they're like, what
Never
was it
seen
like
snow.
playing in the snow? He's like, your feet are getting stuck, and you're just like, I don't even know what he was saying. It
Yeah, well, he was just like explaining what it is to like walk on snow, but to him it was like he's never seen it. He was like, it's like cold, but like you can play through it, and you know it's like slick whenever you make a cut. But like, I'm just fortunate. It's fortunate to be able to play in football weather or whatever he was saying. I'm just like watching the post game interview,
He's
like
something else.
so mad.
but laughing.
He is something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
So
Alright, I think the time has come. Let me cue it up.
No, I was about to say the same thing.
Shoot. Wrong button.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
All right. Time to get into it. We're good. I mean, gosh, Steelers.
Here we go.
Ooh.
What to do? There's a lot to unpack on them.
Sure
I
is.
mean,
Where do we start?
I think we start with
Where
draft.
do we
With-
even start?
Well, actually, we can start with free agency. I guess we can start there. Free agency starts on Monday. What moves we expecting as far as quarterback for one? We can start there. I mean, my opinion is Justin Fields. I think that's the obvious choice. I think he's the cheapest. I think if you are still trying, as you know they are, to still win, I think he gives you that best chance to win. And it's at a point, if he doesn't,
You don't
who
have to commit
cares?
to him.
Yeah, you're
You
not
don't have to
committing
commit to him like you
2
would.
years, $30 million. All right,
Fine.
fine.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, the whole just any talk I hear from the Steelers makes it seem like they are not going to go that direction. And at that point, it's why did we even go out of our way to get him in the first place?
Right. What
To
was
play
his
Yeah.
role? What was
4
his role?
games?
There's no way they brought him in to be a backup.
Yeah,
And then he goes 4-2 in your system.
yeah.
Looks good. I get the people who keep talking about the exchange, the fumbles with the center.
Yeah, I mean,
dude,
it
that's an
happens.
easy
That
fix.
was right off the bat, and that's also Zach Frazier.
A
Just
couple
came
of
in.
them were-
He's
yeah.
starting
They had no
in the
chemistry, dude. He wasn't
NFL.
taking
I mean,
any. Well, I guess during OTAs and stuff, he was. Russ was hurt, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so he did get some first team stats, but yeah, you're still dealing with a rookie center in a brand new system. You're just antsy naturally. That's not a problem for me.
No,
It's not like that's gonna like
No, it's
keep
not a deal
happening
breaker.
over and over and over again. And if that's the only problem, then so be it.
yeah.
If every so often, you muff a snap, it sucks. But like, I think Fields can bring more to you than Russell Wilson can.
Yeah, I mean,
we
he's
saw them both
sure.
at their.
he's more dynamic, obviously, with the rushing ability.
He's younger.
One thing he does not do well, but Russ is the same way. He holds the ball entirely.
He
too
does.
long.
He does.
doesn't read
Yeah.
the field well. Russ is the same way though, and at least Justin can move.
He can move.
Can take off and run.
Yeah.
Russ takes off and runs and fumbles and loses his freaking game because of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Fields also
Oh,
didn't have
I-
any weapons at all. I mean, Russ didn't really either.
No,
but,
none.
I mean,
It's atrocious. We'll hit on that in a second on the wide receivers.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Russell does not bring anything to the table on top of what I see from Justin. And if Justin actually learned behind Russ and maybe got better at his deep ball and actually reading kind of the defenses, I mean, you learn a lot from a guy like Russ.
He's still
You
young.
do.
He's still young. I
Exactly.
mean, Russ is a veteran. We saw what he is going to do.
Yo.
That was pretty bad. We saw what he did and what he's going to do if you re-sign him next year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the same old song and dance.
Yeah.
I hear the argument that Justin Fields had an easier schedule in the beginning of the year because on paper
I
it
mean,
was, but
true.
in the end,
yeah, but
maybe not so much.
Yeah, but I mean,
it
at
wasn't
the
as
beginning
easy
of
as
the
people
year,
said.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could have stuck Fields out there the last 5 games, and he could have lost all the 5 of those games. I'm certain of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
think he would have won one of those
Maybe.
if he was
that's
in there.
my point. It's like we saw the highs, we saw the lows, and I don't think Russ has another gear. If anything, he's trending downward. Fields is trending upwards, and I think you get Fields for cheaper.
Well, and that's just such a big, kind of what you're saying, big knock on Tomlin. He lost 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
This season. Why are you not giving Justin a chance in one of those games? After you lose 3,
Well,
why are you not considering we're going to maybe go a different direction? We need a spark.
he likes stability, and it's infuriating because I think what happened.
He might still have to
Obviously,
get
we don't
knocked out.
know. We saw in season Hard Knocks with the Steelers, and we still couldn't figure out what was going on. But my theory is that they told Russ, "You're going to be our starter. You come to the Steelers. You're going to play for us as long as you're healthy. We're giving you a one-year contract. You're here. You're starting." And then they got Fields, and they said, you're going to be the backup. I don't know what their plan with him was, whether that was you're going to sit behind Russ.
Just blue ball him.
Right.
all.
I mean, their
Yeah.
plan was never to start Fields.
Right.
If Russ started from the start and he sucked, I feel like they would have stuck with Russ. The only reason Fields got a chance is because Russ got hurt.
Yeah.
And as soon as Russ took the field against the Jets,
Yeah.
his first game, he wasn't get pulled. I think no matter what, unless it was just completely catastrophic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hope they sign Fields.
Well, let's talk hypotheticals here. So, say Fields goes somewhere else. Say Russ goes somewhere else. What are we looking at? What are we thinking in terms of quarterbacks?
So that's an interesting point because we were kind of just touching on that. As far as free agents go, you can't really. I mean, do you sign a guy like Darnold? If you sign a guy like Darnold, you're like, we are committed to win right now.
Yeah.
We are probably giving him $30+ million. So I don't think you're getting him for any
I
cheaper
would
than
hate
that.
that.
I would too.
I would too.
I would absolutely hate that. As much as I like Darnold, the Steelers are not in a position to make that move.
Right.
I mean,
No.
it was kind of the same whenever we drafted Kenny. It was like, we're not in a position to really have a quarterback. We don't have an offensive line, whatever. We don't have any weapons. Like, it's just, you just don't do that. I think you kind of have to, because we only have one quarterback currently on the roster. I think you have to sign someone cheap, maybe get someone late in the draft, and assuming Fields and Russ are both gone, I don't know what direction you really go in. I can't think of a really good quarterback to sign unless you're trying to find a bridge for the 2026
and then
draft.
is a bridge Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
Type, I mean,
Yeah,
is
that might be
Lucio?
that might be the best signing
Yeah.
for them if they can't
I
settle.
mean, it
on-
would be ugly, but let's be honest. We wouldn't want to watch it. We would watch it. I don't care what you say.
Is there that big of a
but-
difference between Daniel Jones and Justin Fields?
No, it's a downgrade for sure.
From who?
Going to Daniel Jones.
From Fields?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You think DJ?
The way I see it is, I think Fields. I think they're both question marks, but I think Fields has the only certainty, which is he's elite with his legs.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Jones is good with his legs. He
Tends to trip
might
up
be
every
a.
now and
Oh
then.
yeah. You give him anything more than like 50 yards, he's
Jamie,
probably
pull
gonna
that
fall
up.
over. But I mean, obviously, I would prefer Fields, but you could probably get Daniel Jones, which is like, I don't know, Fields light for half as much.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 year. And then this is assuming that Fields wants to go somewhere else. There might be teams
I would
that
hope so if I were him. I mean,
after the way they traded him, would you want to come back to a team that
no.
that just kicked you to the curb as soon as you went 4-2 and
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he knew that was. He had to have known.
I don't
we
know.
don't know.
It's
the
that's what I'm saying.
background
It's
of
so
it.
hard to tell
Yeah.
what was said behind closed walls.
Yeah.
Russ came in first, right? They might have said,
Mhm.
if you come here, you're the starter.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they stuck to
Which
their
I
guns.
hate
But
that so much because it's the
I do
NFL.
too.
It's like,
you don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't owe
how can
anybody
you
anything.
How can you give a guarantee to a quarterback who's never played in your system?
Mm-hmm.
And the year before that got benched
We saw how
and got cut whenever they took on his contract
Mhm.
because it was guaranteed.
So, anyways, back to the hypothetical. Okay. Say we don't end up going into free agency. We stick with trying to take somebody in the draft. If Shadur and Jackson Dart are there in the first, which I'm guessing they probably will be.
one of them more than
Well,
likely will be.
Yeah, maybe not Shadur.
I think there's a
I
strong
don't know
chance Dart's
why, but
probably
I
there.
have a feeling he's going to go top 15, even though I don't think he's that talent. If Jackson Dart is there,
In the first,
are we taking him?
dude, I hope not. We have a lot of other positions to fill.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
okay.
And I like Jackson Dart in this class as far as because it's not a strong quarterback
But
class.
we
but
kind of like him as like a, I don't want to say a sleeper, but like
yeah,
a second, third round guy. Like we don't like him as a,
right.
because then you're probably just drafting like at the best Kenny Pickett premium.
I don't know. I'll take really a shot on anybody at this point.
But then here,
I still think you
okay,
need you.
yeah, let's go out of our way. Let's get an offensive lineman. I don't know what. Okay, they'll get a cornerback. We need a cornerback.
Corner, defensive line, and
Okay,
and
so
receiver would be the top three needs.
I mean,
If they don't go one of those three in the first round, I'm gonna lose my mind. Unless like
Yeah.
somehow Cam Ward falls to us,
I
it's
won't-
something insane like that.
yeah,
I won't go into it of how I'll react if that happens. we don't get a cornerback, wide receiver, actually, really just those two is what I feel like they need
I would agree.
to take.
The only reason I bring up defensive line is because this draft is so deep
Yeah.
that you may be able to get just a complete change maker on defense. And
Similar with running back.
right, and there is a problem on defense with the Steelers. I mean, no doubt.
Yeah. I think
We're not getting
I think
enough out
that's
of the defense, the highest paid defense in the league.
No.
Yeah. I personally think Terrell Austin is responsible for a lot of that, but
Yeah.
I still think that, I mean, Cam Hayward's out the door, man. He's playing his ass off. He's looked great, but you need to revamp that defense.
But is it Terrell Lawson? In my opinion, it's Tomlin. Doesn't Tomlin
Probably.
run the defense?
Probably.
I think Terrell Lawson is just the
But at least
figurehead.
give us a
You're the
scapegoat.
defensive
Make
coordinator.
do something. Like, they're not going to get rid of Tomlin,
Make
so
him-
at least do
make
something.
him the scapegoat. I agree with that. Fire
Like,
him
make him the
and-
scapegoat, and then maybe, like, since Tomlin might be on the hot seat, like, tell him, hey, go get yourself a defensive coordinator.
We do not
You
care.
focus on the team, and let this defensive coordinator.
make the defense.
Guy
well,
like,
it should have been Brian Flores.
Well, it could be a guy
Yeah.
like, or did he already get taken? The head Salah, Robert Salah.
Yeah, he's going back to the Niners.
He's on the Niners.
Oh.
But a guy
think-
like that
I
could
think.
just run a I think you're right. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was like official or if
It
that was just in talks. But
always goes back to Tomlin, and I hate him. He should have been gone 10 years ago.
I think more of
He's
I think
atrocious.
it's more Bernie's fault.
Bernie, yeah.
Because
He didn't fire him.
the
Yeah, I
the
mean, it's
reason
from
why I
top.
say that is because I
Yeah.
think he lets Tomlin have as much power as he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He lets him, as far as the draft goes, Tomlin probably has a say. He probably calls the plays on offense and defense. I mean, every aspect of the game.
He doesn't call any plays on offense.
No, I don't think he calls plays. I think
But
he tells
Schematics, like he's in the room,
things.
like everything. I'm not
yeah,
saying
I mean,
necessarily.
whatever he's doing it wrong on offense. That's easy to tell by the entire NFL.
Your job as the head coach is you appoint your OC, your DC, special teams coordinator, whatever, all that stuff. Let them do their jobs.
Yeah.
Let them build what they want, especially when you bring big names
Maybe not Arthur Smith.
in. No, maybe
Well,
not.
then go get somebody
agree.
better.
I-
I'm just
Agreed.
saying, as a whole, as an NFL head coach, and then you just oversee all of that. That's all you do is oversee. You don't.
And
dictate
sometimes
and
you
take it
focus
over.
on like Mike McDaniel, who'll probably call plays on offense. Like,
If that's yeah,
but Tomlin, I mean, if he's calling plays on defense because he's a defensive-minded coach,
well, he's
he
not
needs to
calling
be
the right one.
better. Yeah, he needs to be better. So maybe he's just a good motivator, which is all he's really ever been. He's gotten the best out of his
People
players.
want to go play for the Steelers because they like Tomlin as a person, and he lets these guys do whatever they want,
Yeah.
whenever they want. He keeps them under somewhat of control in a fatherly way, of just I don't know, kind of kicking him in the butt and saying like you can't be doing this. He'll grab him by the head, like try and bring him back into things, and it's like cool. It's
He's
like
a-
okay, yeah,
yeah.
like he seems like great person and not a great coach that
He's
you're
a-
gonna listen to, and
The-
he's gonna be able to bring the Steelers to the Super Bowl. That's
Kinda-
not gonna happen.
We
Kinda
saw
going
when we
along
get-
with that. I mean, that's why. I mean, players probably would really never do this, but every single player on the Steelers always never would put any
Everyone always
resemblance
says
of
they
blame
love
on
Tomlin so
Tomlin.
much.
Yeah.
even guys that left.
They must just like
Yeah.
losing. I don't know. I've heard Pat Fryermuth talk about how he loves Tomlin so much, but he went to Penn State, so he doesn't know what winning is. You know, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I mean, these guys need to wake up.
This is his school, by the way. What do they know about winning? Don't bring up the game.
Dude, we have 7 national championships. We have probably 4 or 5 times more NFL players right now than W. Just off the top of my head.
How many on the
Anyway.
Steelers? What about Beanie Bishop?
It's great.
Yeah, Geno
You got
Smith,
anyone
Zach
else?
Frazier. I think that's the end of the list.
Zach Frazier, I mean, the Steelers do have some good W guys. But it's just frustrating, man. I it's the worst. Like hearing, we discuss about this. Everyone feels like Tomlin. We probably need to move on from Tomlin, right? Everyone's kind of just in the city. You can kind of feel it. There's billboards going up.
Kevin Adams.
Kevin Adams, shout out Kevin Adams. He wants Tomlin is gone as much as anybody, but It's just frustrating. I mean, the players come out and they say that they love playing for Tomlin. I'm sure it's great. It's like if you were my coach and you had no idea what we're doing. You're my boy. Yeah, I
right.
love you. I'm not gonna come out and say he sucks because I like you. I feel like that's how it is. That's
Yeah.
the kind of relationship they have. But at some point, you got to put your foot down and say we're not winning.
Yeah.
And the standard is a standard, right? Well, the standard is going 1-0 in the playoffs for
Which years
7
ahead
years
with this
straight.
podcast, we make so much money.
We just buy the Steelers.
We buy the Steelers.
Yeah, please, guys, support us. We need the money. We're
We
doing it
own
in
it.
good favor for
You
the
guys are Steelers
Steelers.
fans.
Yeah.
Make this happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it.
GoFundMe down in the description, okay? This isn't a Patreon. No, this is GoFundMe. This is for your sake, too. We can turn this franchise around. Just give us
Talk about it
$1
every day of our
billion.
lives.
2 years, Steelers in the Super Bowl. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Might even see Big Bang coming back for one last year.
Oh, he's
You-
coming back.
You might even see one of us suiting up.
He's coming out of the retirement
Whatever it
home.
takes. Well,
Well, moving along with that then, I mean,
draft wise,
draft-wise, yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. I know you guys obviously touched as far as what you want to see, at least with our first 3 picks.
Yeah.
Let's talk going in threes. Give me just round 1, pick 21. I mean, you can, I guess, throw hypothetical trades in there. Might be a little too complicated. Give me 3 guys that you would like to see, guys that might fall.
first round.
First round only.
Okay.
Let's see it. Let's hear that.
I'll give you like a dream one because I think Will Johnson's so elite. I actually think he's the best corner in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm a big Travis Hunter hater, but like I think he gets too much respect, and I think Will Johnson's a better corner than he is, and I also think Ted's a better receiver than he is. Same with like Buka and Burden, but I would love to see Will Johnson on the Steelers to pair with JPJ.
That would be, yeah.
I mean, that would be money. If somehow, even if you get in a situation where you can trade like I don't know exactly what the picks are for the Steelers, but if you could trade some draft
Trade
capital
like a
to move
Russell
up,
Wilson.
you sign Russ and then trade him and just no, but like if you could somehow move up a couple of slots if you need to get a guy like that, I feel like it'd be worth it. Do you want me to give all 3?
Yeah. Give
Okay.
it, yeah.
I also like Matthew Golden. I think would be a really good fit for the Steelers. I really do. I think a lot of people are thinking about just talented receivers in general. I'm thinking more schematics because I think as far as like Buka and Burton, they're really good slot receivers, but I think we have a really good slot receiver in Calvin Austin. And we just drafted Roman Wilson in the 3rd round. I mean, we have depth. Cooper Kupp's out there. You could probably get him for pretty cheap. So I'm looking for an outside receiver. Obviously, Ted's probably going to be gone. It's almost like automatic that he'll be gone by pick 21. So Matthew Golden, I think, would be an awesome fit for the Steelers. And those are my main 2. I'd probably say Ekbuka. Even though he is primarily at Ohio State, he was a slot receiver. I think he can play outside. I think he can be good outside. And, if he moves to the slot, maybe you move other guys outside. I just think he'd be a good locker room guy. And I'm just a big fan of him. So I think those would be top 3 wishes for the Steelers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pick 21.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, I don't want to copy you, and I'm not copying you.
No, go
I
ahead.
went first.
Well, I went first. I took the 3 best.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So
feel free.
now we are enemies.
Feel
No,
free.
I think Will Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he is my, like, if somehow miraculously he is there at 21.
Is he your CB1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. I would
For
agree.
sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't give as much versatility as a Hunter,
Mhm.
which is the reason why he's going to go where he's going to go.
Right.
I mean,
I mean-
he's a guy that can go probably top 10.
Yeah.
Like, pretty easily.
Wait, Travis Hunter?
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Oh, Will Johnson. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Hunter's going to go top 5, yeah.
Yeah, and I do see what the whole thing is with Hunter. I mean, you're gonna get a guy that you can get to play both sides in whatever capacity it is, like that. Even for the Steelers, look at us. We need a cornerback and a wide receiver in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
He could do both, and he's not gonna do it at the elite level that someone like a Tat or Will Johnson will. But
Right.
I digress. Will Johnson, yeah, he is my number 1 want.
I'd take him
for-
over
for
anyone.
you guys.
If he's on the board, even if, what about him or Ted? If somehow they both fall, it will almost never happen, but like in a theoretical world, who are you taking? I'm probably still taking Johnson.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can see both ways.
I disagree. I would
I
take Will
think
Johnson.
Yeah.
2. You never know. Ashton Genty.
I've seen him get mocked to the Steelers.
I know.
Running backs are
heard-
scary in
I
the
think
first
I talked
round.
to you guys about it.
Mhm,
You wouldn't
yeah.
like that.
I wouldn't love it. I mean, I think Ashton Genty is a generational type player.
Yeah.
I don't like to throw that word around too much, so I kind of hesitated.
I
But
think it's.
I also just don't want to make the same mistake of drafting a running back in the first round when there are so many other needs that this team has.
That's what I feel. Like I wouldn't hate the pick in the sense.
But you're not going to
Naj. This isn't
It's
Naj.
n-
This
It's
is Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I
I don't know, dude. Naj was nasty in college too.
Yeah,
Is there
he-
any
he was
guarantee
still
that
just as slow? It's just because the other college
we don't know how
players are
fast
slow.
Genty is?
I can guarantee
Necessarily.
you he is gonna have a better career than Naj.
Well, I would hope that he's
But
at
that-
least
that's my
faster than
second guy.
Naj.
I think that having that kind of talent and being able to just hand him the ball with how much we run it and
Yeah, we are a
say,
run centric.
go do what you
offense.
want. I think that could make a huge impact for the Steelers.
Good pull. That's a good
And
pull.
third, I mean, it's between Burden. If he's probably not going to be there.
He might be there.
If he is, I think it's between him and Igbuka for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go Burden for sake of this. I think Missouri really was not. He wasn't in a place to succeed with everything they had going on there. I mean, just bad team overall.
Yeah.
He wasn't set up to succeed. So that reflected in his stats this year. I still liked what I saw out of him, and I don't really care about the combine at all. I mean, he had a good combine. I don't think that matters as much as people think.
I agree.
And I think that's my 3, though. And I'd be happy with any of them. Anybody else, I think I am going to fly over, actually drive to the Steelers organization and probably put fentanyl inside of their coffee machine. So, yeah, they better take
Be
one
rid
of
of
them.
everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would put like Ekbuka as my 3A and Burden as my 3B. I could definitely see an argument. I would be happy with either of them getting drafted.
Yeah.
I just want to see some receiver's such a sexy pick too. I'd love to see.
It is.
I'd love to see some
It
like
is.
action and
Going into my picks, it's the same. The first one, if Will Johnson's there, you have to take him. He's
Yeah.
the best corner, I think, in the draft. I would take him over Ted. I would take him over pretty much anybody that's there.
I would
Unless
too.
it's, Cam Ward.
I was just thinking that, like-
or Abdul Carter or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm taking Will Johnson.
Even like Travis Hunter, I'd probably rather still have.
If
Will
you
Johnson,
wanted a
maybe,
true
like,
corner
yeah.
CB1, like you said, Fairmont with Joey Porter Jr., I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Second, it would be receiver. I would also go with Burden. I think he is my first one in there, assuming Tet's not there.
Right.
I would take Burden. I get it with the slot. We do have guys that can play in the slot. Calvin Austin's good, but I just think Burden's still that much better.
He's next level.
Right.
He would give you, like-
and I think that's even then the same. You can even go to Igbuka. I would take him then too.
Yeah.
And then I would take Matthew Gold. So, that's where those 2 fall, or those 3, fall all in that second one. And
Mhm.
then my third would be Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
If Tyler Warren
Good pull.
is somehow there,
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking Tyler Warren.
Because that's another offensive receiver. I mean, at this point,
Yeah,
I don't think
I
it really
get-
matters
I
who
get
the
we
Steelers
have-
take.
I get we have Muth, but we also run so many 2 tight ends.
Yeah, a lot of
Darnell's
2 tight end sets.
okay,
Yeah.
but he doesn't ever catch the ball. He's a good blocker.
Yeah.
If you have 2 guys in there that can, then that wide receiver position, that's not as glaring because
Yeah.
you have 2 threats at tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Belichick did that for Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, and
Right.
they were nasty.
Yeah.
So
And Tyler Warren's he's a zone killer.
he's
He's unreal.
Muth's, like I said, he's okay. He's probably better than Muth.
I know we just extended Booth as well, but I agree with you on that. I think
Yeah.
I like I
Have
don't
them
I don't
both.
care. We just need we need
Yeah.
receiving weapons, and like sometimes you like to think that like okay, well we have tight end Prior Muth, we have a slot receiver, and I'm saying it myself, but like at the end of the day, you just need pass catchers.
Yeah.
That's what the Steelers need. They need pass catchers, and Tyler Warren would be one of the best ones
Mhm.
in the draft. So
Yeah. That's someone I was
And-
definitely thinking about was Warren. 'cause
Well,
I would have said him if I thought of him earlier. That's I mean, that's
he was
a
in my
great
head the whole
pull.
time. I was like, hopefully you guys don't say that. Like, at least I can give some sort of
Yeah,
different.
I wonder. I feel like the either the Colts or the Broncos are
Bengals
going
will-
to take
I think the
all the-
Bengals will take him.
He's not getting past the Bengals.
He's not going to get past the Bengals.
Dude,
He's not
that
getting past the
team's gonna
Bengals.
be gross offensively.
I think
if they don't go defense, like whatever they have going on with their defense, they need to do something. I mean,
Well, Trey
if
Hendrickson
they
is
go
going to get
Warren-
traded.
yeah,
now.
Trey Hendrickson's gone, and what's his face just retired.
Mhm.
Hubbard,
Wow.
Sam Hubbard just retired.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty good place to call it.
Yeah.
I think we really hit on everything we wanted to talk about.
I think so too.
And then we know our future is one of those 5 guys.
Hopefully.
And if it's not, you know what's happening.
Like and
So.
subscribe.
Please don't pull an Artie Burns and just feel the need to draft a position, a player at a certain position that you need just because you need it.
Yeah.
Draft talent. At the end of the day, I just want the Steelers to draft talent.
Yeah.
Everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
Get the best player on the board, prioritize the 3-4 positions you need, and go from there.
Yeah.
Please
See
don't
what they
draft the
do.
6th best corner in the draft at 21.
No.
Right.
Please don't.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But all right. Yeah. Good talk, boys. And we'll keep finishing these beers, probably get pissed drunk and then pass out and then beat up our children. Yeah.
That we don't have.
None of us have.
All right.
Thanks
Peace
for
out.
watching. Bye.